I will continue with the medical thread. So we didn't know that that was the theme of tonight's show, but it is. Show of hands, since I can see most of you. How many people know what a chaplain is who works in a hospital? Oh, some. Not all. So I will explain. I used to work as a chaplain. My job as a chaplain was to be there for the spiritual care of all of the patients, regardless of their faith or if they had any faith at all. I am Jewish, but as a chaplain, my job is to like morph and shape shift into whatever a patient needs me to be. And one day I went to visit a patient who was in isolation, and they don't get visited a lot because it's a real pain, quite frankly, because you gotta like suit up and put on gloves and a mask and like a whole thing. And sometimes you do that and you go in and they're sleeping. And you're just like, well, maybe you want some company while you sleep and I'll just take a seat. But I had one patient who I went in and I knew that she had had no visitors. I saw that nobody had come to see her at all. She was very, very old and very tiny and she was dying. And I went in to visit her, and it turns out what she needed me to be was her granddaughter, because that's who she thought I was. And she just launched just decades of vitriolic anger at me for 20 minutes straight. Before I could be like, I ain't your grandbaby. I'm the chaplain. How are you? We skipped that to being like, just receiving all that, which I could do. That was fine. That was part of my job. And she was lonely. So there was a couple of visits like that where we really got into it, and I kind of got into the role. You're also in isolation, so like nobody can see you. It was just more like I was trying to interact with her and my job also as a chaplain is to pull out questions or concerns or thoughts that somebody might need to share. So you give a lot of space. In this case, it was a lot of yelling. One day I go in, she doesn't yell. She's in a better mood. I sit down. Again, I'm all suited up. And we sit in silence for quite a while. And then, she's in a hospital gown, which does not have pockets, yet she pulls from her invisible pocket something. And then she does this. Looks like a Ziploc bag, maybe. It's all invisible. She pulls something out. She pulls something else out from her other pocket, puts the invisible object here, opens this thing, puts this in here, and starts to do this. I'm like, I think she's grinding weed. She is. She pulls out her rolling papers, spends a lot of time rolling an invisible joint. Careful, just so much care she's putting into this. And I'm watching, and I'm just like, this is incredible. What is going to happen next? She pulls out her invisible lighter. She lights it and takes like the longest drag. And she looks kind of happy, which I had never seen her look before. And then she hands it to me. And I'm just like, well, I know I shouldn't take my mask off, nor should I do drugs at work, but here we go. So I pull down my mask, and we continue to pass this invisible joint back and forth for 20 minutes in silence. I'm blazed at this point. I'm just like, what's up? It was amazing. It was incredible. I don't really do drugs, so this was perfect. It was unbelievable, and we had this amazing moment. And I don't know in that moment if she thought I was her granddaughter or not. I really don't. And I was so looking forward to going back and visiting her again. I was like, maybe we'll get high again. Maybe we'll do something else. I don't know, cocaine? That seems safe if it's invisible. That's new. I've never done it. I don't want to, but with her, I would do any drug she gave me. And I wanted her to feel not alone. And I was so looking forward to seeing her again. And my next shift at the hospital, which was just a few days later, I went to find her, and it turns out she had died while I wasn't there. I know. And she was alone, which was really heartbreaking. But there was something to that moment, something about for sure, passing the invisible joint was comedic and wonderful and soul-giving, but also exchanging so much silence after so much yelling with that person was very, very impactful. So that's my story. Thank you, Marsha.
Shaffer. Oh my God, I love that story so much.